Hi everyone, my name is Juana Escobar and I'm the Digital Campaigns Manager here at America's Voice. Today I'm going to be introducing you to Twitter and teaching you how to use it, specifically for organizing and working in social justice. So if you're new to Twitter or want to try it out but don't know where to start, this training will give you quick tips on how to do so. Let's begin by understanding what Twitter is. Twitter is an information network, a distribution channel that is used to build brand recognition and reputation. Now, one of the key things that makes Twitter stand out above all the other social networks, and what often scares people the most, is its character limit. Twitter has a 280 character limit for you to say what it is that you need to say. That means that with Twitter, thoughts and content are short and straight to the point. The character limit does not go into effect when posting photos or video. This is only text. More specifically, for nonprofits or for those working in the social justice space, Twitter is the place to share information, success stories, and thought-provoking content to increase support and activism. Okay, so now that we understand what Twitter is and how it stands out, let's dive right into it. This is what Twitter looks like when you first log in. One of the first obvious things that you will see is your timeline, very much like the one on Facebook and other social networks. To the left, you will see your name and your Twitter username, also known as your Twitter handle, the number of tweets you've sent, how many people you're following, and how many followers you have. Pretty basic things. Below that are your trends. These are by default related to your location. However, you can change that to be nationwide, for example, like we have here at America's Voice. These are the subjects and hashtags that the majority of people on Twitter are talking about and using. To the right-hand side of your screen, you will see your icon or your Twitter photo, followed by the icon which allows you to send your tweet. I'll come back to this in a second. And below that, you will see suggestions on who to follow on Twitter. Moments at the top of your screen allow you to sort of filter your newsfeed with posts on a specific subject that you might be interested in from brands and people you may not necessarily be following. This is all of Twitter. Messages are your personal inbox. These are the direct messages that only you and the sender can see. Now, to compose or write your tweet, there are a couple of different options. You can go to the center of your newsfeed where it says what is happening, or to the top right-hand corner of your screen like I just showed you. To see your profile, you can go back to the left side where it says tweets. This will show you what everyone sees when they visit your page. Okay, so now going back to actually writing and sending out your tweets. Here's the autonomy of a tweet. First, you will see the Twitter's name and handle, and right below that, you will see the actual content, such as the text of the tweet, hashtag or hashtags being used to categorize your tweet, followed by a shortened link. I always recommend shortening your link so that you have more character space to say what you actually want to say. Then a photo or any visuals. Make sure your tweets always have visuals. Tweets with captivating visuals tend to have a lot more engagement. After that, you will see the basic time and date that the tweet was posted, along with the engagement bar that shows you how many replies, retweets, or likes it has. Some other features that will help maximize your tweets are mentions, visuals, and tags. You don't always have to use these, but they're good to know in case you do want to use them, and I actually recommend doing so whenever possible. So whenever you place an @ symbol in front of a person or an organization's Twitter handle, it means that you are mentioning them on your tweet. This automatically tags that person or organization and lets them know that they are in your tweet. They are more likely to retweet your tweet and therefore increase your engagement, as their followers will also see it. As I mentioned before, visuals such as images, videos, and GIFs are a great way to boost engagement on Twitter. Overall, people love visuals, so I highly recommend using them to show or express your tweet. Tags on Twitter work a lot of the same way that they work on other social networks. They allow you to identify who is in your photo. Again, whenever you tag someone or an organization, they will get notified and hence increase the chances your tweet will be shared and liked. Some of the mentions and tags that I highly recommend using on Twitter, especially when working in social justice, are elected officials, members of Congress, and any partner organizations you may be working with or collaborating with. It is known that elected officials and members of Congress often pay close attention to their Twitter engagements, so if you're trying to get their attention about your issue or cause, this is a great way to do so. If you use other social networks, I'm sure you're familiar with hashtags. However, hashtags on Twitter carry a bit more weight to them than they do in other social networks. Hashtags on Twitter are a critical part of the conversation, and as I mentioned before, a key part of the tweets. Whenever you place the pound symbol in front of a word or words on Twitter, it automatically links that tweet to all the tweets with that tag or hashtag. Hashtags collect subjects and causes. They tell people what you're talking about. Using hashtags allows your tweet to be a part of the national and worldwide conversation. You can search any hashtag on Twitter and it will show you all the tweets that are being used with the same hashtag. Overall, this increases engagement such as retweets, replies, and likes. Journalists often go to Twitter to find story leads through a hashtag, so if you're trying to get your issue noticed in the media, this is a great way to do so. Overall, hashtags increase the visibility of your tweets and therefore your cause. Twitter threads are one of the key gems of Twitter. It allows you to connect your tweets on the same subject into a chain and keep them all together the same way you would messages in like a text message chain, for example. This is a great workaround the character limit that often overwhelms or scares people about Twitter. To connect your tweets and make them into a thread, you simply click on the plus sign or add another tweet box at the bottom of your first tweet in that chain, and you're good to go. You are still able to add visuals like photos and videos to all of them. Don't get too carried away though. There is a limit of 25 tweets per thread. So now that we know what Twitter is, how to compose a tweet, and the key functions that Twitter has, let's put it all together into our social justice work. Twitter, like many social media networks, helps us connect people to the causes we work for and care about the most. It makes it easy for anyone to get informed and join a campaign or a cause. The best way to use Twitter as an organizer or advocate for your social justice issue and cause is to simply share what you're doing. It really is that simple. Take photos during your events, whether it's a rally, a protest, a town hall, workshop, etc. The best way to convince someone that what you're doing is important is to show them how important it is. Also, post video. Video brings people into your event or to your work. So take a quick 15-30 second video of your volunteers making their rally signs, for example. You can make another video introducing your team to everyone. Share what you're working on. And lastly, a great way to share what you're doing is through Twitter's live feature. This is particularly effective during rallies or protests. You want to bring people in that are not there. Make them feel as if they are there. Chances are you'll intrigue them into learning more or even joining you next time. Lastly, here are some Twitter do's and don'ts to keep in mind when tweeting. Do mention public figures, influencers, and other organizations. Again, use the mention and tag features to let them know that they should care about your issue or cause, and thank or give credit to your partner organizations that share the same vision as you. Do give photos captions. You always want to guide people into what they're looking at when they see your photo. A good rule of thumb is to include the who, what, where, when, and why. Do interact. Again, social media, including Twitter, is all about engagement. So retweet news articles related to your issue or things other organizations are doing. Respond to comments from your supporters. Answer their questions. Like tweets that, again, are connected to your issue. The engagement with your supporters or potential supporters starts on social media so that you can draw them into your events and or your issue. Do use relevant hashtags. Make sure your hashtags match what you're talking about. If you're talking about families being separated at the border, for example, the most popular one is hashtag families belong together. So be sure to use that to be part of the already interactive conversation. If you're trying to get the DREAM Act passed, use hashtag DREAM Act now. Whatever your issue is, find out what the most relevant hashtag is and use it. Do use visuals other than photos. Don't be afraid to go live or use GIFs or even emojis in your tweets. People like the variety of visuals. So be sure to branch out from using photos and videos. Now moving on to the don'ts of Twitter. Don't write long posts. People are often turned away by big chunks of text, and they will unlikely read part or all of your tweet if there's a lot of text in it. So be concise and to the point. If you do have a lot to say, use the thread feature and break down your thoughts into several tweets. Don't be monotone. You want to be human on social media so that you can relate to your supporters. So don't be afraid to show your personality on there. If this is an issue that's important to you, be sure to show your support, your anger, your humor, etc. Don't overuse hashtags. We all love hashtags, and for good reason, especially on Twitter. But stick to no more than 2 per tweet. This will not only save you character space, but also allow your tweets to be more concise. Don't use excessive abbreviations on Twitter. People might not always understand the jargon of your issue or your cause, so be sure to spell it out for them whenever possible. Don't use text only. Again, people love visuals, so be sure to add photos, videos, GIFs, etc. whenever possible. Lastly, don't engage with trolls. Have a positive conversation on Twitter. Engage with your supporters instead of getting stuck in the negativity. You will organize more effectively this way. If you do find yourself encountering trolls or feel like you need to do something about it, you can either ignore them or talk to your communications or social media team about blocking them. This concludes this training. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or contact America's Voice on our website. And be sure to follow us on social media. Thank you.